Howdy, my name is Nonat, and I've been playing Pathfinder 2e for a while now, and while I haven't gotten to play as every class, I've at least GM'd and played as most of them. That being said, on top of my video making, playing the game, and theory crafting, I've looked at pretty much every option available to them. Not every single feat, but at the very least the subclasses available. So in this video, I'm going to be going over my personal favorite subclass for every single class in the Pathfinder 2e system. These might not be the strongest or even the coolest, but they are my personal favorite, so remember these are my opinions, so you can yell at me down in the comments and hurt my feelings.
Wait a minute!
This video is sponsored by World Anvil. World Anvil is a premium choice for campaign management. If you're looking for a program that can do it all, then look no further. World Anvil can do everything from manage your world, to manage your notes, to manage your players, to manage everything under the sun when it comes to a D&D, Pathfinder, or other RPG campaign. They've also gone above and beyond with their newest edition of Chronos. This is an interesting new calendar program within the World Anvil program itself that can help you keep track of days, months, years, even minutes in your world. You have complete freedom to decide how long a day is, how long a year is, or even how long a minute is in your world. Or, if you're like me and not creative enough for stuff like that, you can use 4 pre-made calendars for 4 of the most common settings in TTRPGs. The Real-World Gregorian Calendar, the Forgotten Realms Calendar, Greyhawk Calendar, or the Galarian Calendar. That's right, Pathfinder people, they're thinking of us, and it's super flattering. So if you're looking for this level of customization in your campaign manager, click the link in the description to head over to World Anvil now. Now, some of the content, like the calendars, is only available to paid premium members, but right now, if you buy a full year at once, you get 3 months for free. You're only paying 9 months worth of money for 12 months of membership. Click the link in the description and check it out. Thank you, World Anvil, for sponsoring the video. Let's talk subclasses. Let's not waste any time and get into the Alchemist, which my favorite subclass for the Alchemist is the Toxicologist. This is a big example of not the strongest, but my personal favorite. I love the idea of being able to apply poisons, especially with a blowgun, which there is a first level feat for, which just feels really cool. You can just and people are suddenly poisoned, and as you level up, you get all these cooler and cooler poisons with different effects. You can even make ingestible poisons and go for like political subterfuge and poisoning people. It is such a fun subclass, and the ability to apply poison to your weapon for a single action instead of 2 is amazing. I love the Toxicologist. Barbarian was a tough one because I really like all of the different instincts, but I think my heart belongs to the giant instinct. Part of me really wanted to say Fury because I just love the basic angry barbarian, but there's just not enough going for it. Paizo didn't give the Fury Instinct a lot of love, and so it doesn't really have any character, but the Giant Instinct, you get to wield weapons that are too big for you, you get to deal massive amounts of damage. Sure, you're clumsy and easier to hit, but I'll gladly take that trade-off for swinging for 1d12 plus like 10 at level 1. The Bard is a bit difficult because I'm not the biggest fan of any of their 4 subclasses. If I had to pick one, I think it would be Enigma? Honestly, the only difference between the subclasses is 1 feat and a spell they get to start with. Do you want True Strike? Take Enigma. Do you want Healing? Take Maestro. Really, the subclass has so little impact that it's hard to pick a favorite, but I like True Strike and Pathfinder, and Bardic Lore is incredibly useful, so I'm gonna go with Enigma. And this will tend to be a running trend, especially on spellcasters. Spellcaster subclasses, except for a few of them, don't actually determine all that much for you besides a first level feat and maybe some starting spells. The champion, I have to go with the Paladin hands down. I love attacks of opportunity, especially now that they're rarer in this game. So the champion having a really cool one with their reaction being able to attack back when their ally gets hurt while adjacent to them is incredibly fun. I adore the Liberator's ability to move their allies around and the Redeemer's ability to inflict clumsy and stuff on their opponent, but something about just being able to hurt the person who just hurt your friend in that moment is so satisfying. Ironically though, for some reason, if I were to play a champion, I think I would play a Liberator because I would be able to make a more interesting character, but as far as flat out mechanics and stuff go, I love the Paladin. Clerics are annoying because I only have two choices. I have Cloistered and War Priest. I suppose I could pick my favorite domain, but there's way too many of those, and they only decide your focus spells. I think I'm gonna say Cloistered just because if I'm gonna play a Cleric, I think I want to play a full spellcaster. War Priest is cool, and being able to put like heroism and all these buffs on yourself can make you a monster, but I just like being a typical cloth Cleric and just slinging spells around. Especially if you start taking some of the more offensive spells, you can get a lot of cool fire spells that aren't Fireball. Druid is easy. I love the Wild Order. I'm not a big fan of full-on shapeshifting, and even though full-on shapeshifting is stronger in this system than the Wild Order, I just love the idea of changing your body parts part way into animals. Just growing claws, just growing jaws, just growing wings is super cool, because I still get to feel like I'm playing as my character with these augments, whereas if I shapeshift, I'm using almost a completely different stat block, so I really love the Wild Order, even if it's a bit clunky in its execution. The Fighter is hard because it doesn't have an official subclass, but the subclasses are dependent basically on the feat selection. And for my Fighter subclass I'm gonna go with Archery. The bows in Pathfinder 2e can be very underwhelming, especially if you don't have any way to add extra damage to them. A short bow is just 1d6. On a normal hit, you are dealing 1 to 6 damage. You don't add your dex to damage unless you're like a rogue with sneak attack or something like that, but a fighter with that +2 to hit and +2 to crit can really make good use of the bow's deadly trait. Plus, if you have a decent strength score, you can make it a composite one as well to add an extra +1 or 2 on top of that. Getting to add an extra dice when you crit feels amazing, as well as upping those d6s to d8s. So on a normal hit, that short bow is only dealing 1d6, but if you crit, you're suddenly dealing 3d8. It's amazing. D10, I'm sorry, wow! Yeah, 1d6 on a normal hit, 3d10 on a crit. If you combine this with an archetype like Eldritch Archer, you've got a really fun character. Oh god, what are even the subclasses of the Investigator? That's like the only class I've never even looked at. Once again, the Investigator subclasses don't add too much. They don't really determine exactly the path you need to go down, but if I had to pick, I would probably pick Interrogation, because pointed question is such a useful skill. Being able to ask someone a question, and if they're lying, you get a bonus to your perception check, provided you made the actual skill in the first place. Pointed question comes up all the time when one of my players is an investigator, and it's always a really cool moment when they get to ask something super serious, and then they get that bonus to make sure they know if they're getting the truth or not. I am skirting in here in the middle of the video because I've got a very important announcement. The No Not One's Patreon page has been overhauled. A lot of the tiers have been changed, a lot of things have become cheaper, there's a couple new benefits, and a new limited tier that only has 8 spots left available because 2 of them have already been claimed at the time of recording this video. On the No Not One's Patreon, you can now pledge for $10 or more, which still gets you all of my homebrew, but you will now be credited in videos just like all of these people. Look at all of these $10 people that I just felt bad not showing off. Now, of course, the $20, the $30, they're gonna go at the top because they're cool guys. Look at those cool guys, gals, and those in between. But these guys aren't less cool. Look at all these people. I can barely fit them on the screen. If you would like to get your name on the screen in future videos, you can pledge at $10 or more. And $20 tier, I'm not leaving you high and dry. You are getting a free adventure prompt from this brain once per week on Saturdays. This is going to be about a paragraph or 2 of me saying, here's a cool idea for an adventure, use it if you want. Or, here's a stupid idea for an adventure, use it if you want. Every Saturday, you're gonna get one of these. It could be stupid, it could be fun, it could be really cool, and there'll be everything from something that could prompt a one-shot to something that could prompt an entire campaign. And finally, the limited $30 tier, which there are only 8 spots left, gets you a one-on-one 30-minute advice session with me once per month. This will be 30 minutes where we can talk about anything you want. I will work to schedule it with you, and I can help you with your homebrew, help you design your campaign, give you advice on places you think you might be struggling as a GM or a player, or just talk about cool stuff. I don't know. I don't care. It's your money. So if any of this interests you, please click the link at the top of the description down below to go over to the No Not One's Patreon page and pledge today. Every dollar pledged there helps me keep this place running, helps me afford rent and food, and overall just keep the channel alive. And I would not be where I am without all of these amazing people on screen right now. Thank you all sincerely. let's get back to the video. Monk is another one similar to the fighter, where they don't have a subclass, they just have stances. Now, these stances can be wildly different, but I have to give my favorite to monastic archery. There's just something so cool about a bow using monk. Bow using a monk? A monk using a bow and like knocking multiple arrows at once for flurry of blows, and I mean flurry of bows. It's just beautiful. It's a really fun build to play. You can run around the battlefield, position yourself perfectly with that improved movement speed. It's a lot of fun. The Oracle is another class I haven't looked at as deep as some of the others, but I do already know which one I prefer as far as the mysteries, and that is the Ancestor. I don't know if it's the Curse of the the Mystery of Ancestors, the Curse of Ancestral Meddling. I love this purely from a roleplay perspective. The bonuses are interesting, and especially if you make a character like I had a fighter Eldritch Archer. He was a Eldritch Archer fighter with the Oracle archetype. It was a complicated character, but it was fun because when I would roll each of my ancestors, that would almost determine what I could do better. That I roll spell casting, maybe I'll just cast a spell. That I roll attacking, you know I'm attacking. That I roll skill checks, I'll intimidate. It was a really cool thing, and I was able to roleplay it as having all these voices in his head, and beyond that, when one of those was rolled, that ancestor would come to the forefront and take over his body. I know that's not technically how it works, but it was really fun to flavor it that way. Ranger, it's really hard for me to pick between Precision and Flurry. Flurry is fun because you get to attack more, so you get to roll more dice. But Precision is fun because you deal more damage, so you roll more dice. I think the deciding factor for me is that if I would play a Ranger, I would definitely take an Animal Companion. An Animal Companion is more fun with Precision because the Animal Companion also gets Precision and can't benefit from Flurry quite as well. A dual-wielding Ranger is still super cool, as is an Outwit Monster Hunter Recall Knowledge Ranger. That still sounds super cool as well, but I think my favorite Ranger build is an Animal Companion with Precision. Rogue is ruffian. There's no contest. A strength-based rogue is something you can't do that well in any other fantasy system like this, and Pathfinder has given them not only a viable build, but a really strong one. A ruffian rogue can get sneak attacks with a 1d8 long spear with reach. Sneak attack on reach plus strength modifier to damage is insane! I love the Ruffian Rogue. They have some of the coolest feats like Mug, where you can shove someone and plant evidence, where you shove someone and slide something in their pocket. Oh, it's just so cool. You're gonna make me pick one sorcerer bloodline for this? You're really gonna make me pick one bloodline. I don't know who you is, I'm the one making this video and it's my idea, so I'm really gonna make me pick one bloodline? You know, I'm giving a shout out to my buddy Josh Scorcher, because before he and I started talking, I didn't know about the Phoenix bloodline, which is uncommon, and it's from a freaking one-shot scenario from Pathfinder Society, King of the Mountain, but the Phoenix bloodline gets one of the coolest focus spells, which is a 15-foot cone of flames, that if it hits an ally, it heals them, or if it hits an enemy, it hurts them. So you can cast this right into the fray, healing all your frontliners and dealing some extra damage. It doesn't heal a crazy amount. It's like 1d4 plus spellcasting mod, I think. Just 1d4, so it's not a lot, but it's still really freaking cool, and it wins just off that one focus spell because I don't feel like going into every focus spell of every single sorcerer bloodline, and this video is for fun. Moving on. For Swashbuckler, I think I have to go with the Braggart, and that stems entirely from my love of the Demoralize action. If you're not using Demoralize in your games, do yourself a favor and start using it, because if you succeed, Frightened 1 means they're taking a -1 to attack rolls, damage rolls, saving throws, armor class, everything until the end of their next turn. If you crit succeed, it's gonna last for 2 turns, Frightened 2, then Frightened 1. It's amazing, and getting Panache from Demoralize is spectacular. Sorry about the dog, that's not my dog, that's a neighbor. Oh god, which patrons have the same issue as the Sorcerer subclass? Literally all they do is give you a skill proficiency, a focus spell, and a spell to your repertoire spellbook or whatever. Ugh. I'm gonna give it to Winter just because I like the idea and flavor of an Ice Switch, and Clinging Ice is a cool focus spell. 2 actions to deal some cold damage, and then you can keep sustaining it to just keep hammering that damage in every single turn. It's a lot of fun. Albeit, it does use, I think, a Fortitude save, and that can make it really, really tough. No, it is Reflex save. I guess my player just had really bad luck when it came to using this spell. As if it's even a question what my favorite wizard subclass is. I am offended if you don't know my favorite subclass. I want you to leave this Okay, I'm going too far. Don't leave. Please like the video and leave a comment below. I love you. Universalist Wizard obviously takes the cake. Not only are you not limited by specific bonus spell slots that only fill a certain type of spell, but you get Hand of the Apprentice, the best spell in the game. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. A half-orc or a full-orc wizard with orc weapon familiarity using Hand of the Apprentice can deal 1d12 plus, 1d12 plus 4, which can crit for 2d12 plus 8 from 500 feet away for 1 action. I love this spell, it's stupid. It's a very specific build, and it falls off at like level 3. But I love this spell. Moving on to the 4 new classes we got this year, starting off with Magus. I gotta go with the Tome Magus, which is specifically the Shield Magus. Sparkling Targe allows you to do some really cool stuff with your shield as a Magus, also giving you that bonus AC, and the feat that lets you infuse a magical tome into a shield. So you can hold the tome, turn it into a shield. Oh, it's just such cool flavor! Plus, it gives you bonuses to saving throws. You can use shield block against magical effects, not just physical. It is just such a neat character concept, and I'm just a sucker for the dude holding a book being like, you can't touch me. And that's why Sinclair is a Tome Magus. Sign up for the Kickstarter using the link below. We go live in just a few weeks. I'm so freaking excited, guys. You have no idea. Oh, now I have to pick 1 Summoner Eidolon? Why did I make this video? This one's honestly pretty easy for me. I like the plant Eidolon. I'm a big fan of the primal spell list, and I just like the idea of having a living plant with me. Not a treant, not like a plant-like creature, just a living rosebush that will slap you with vines and can also like entangle you and stuff. I love it. It's just a really cool idea, and for some reason when I play a summoner, I just want a living plant with me. I don't know why, it just sounds fun. I'm a simple man. I like the Way of the Sniper because I like big guns and big numbers. With Way of the Sniper, turn 1, you take that arquebus from 150 feet away and you go bang. You better get a critical hit, otherwise you doing pennies of damage. But you get that critical hit and woo! You're off to the races. And the Inventor's another easy one to cap us off. I love the Weapon Inventor. Armor's cool, having a construct is neat, but having a weapon that is truly unique is something you can't do anywhere else in the game. The Inventor is the only class that can put traits onto weapons. Even if you're good at crafting, rules as written, you can't do that, but the Inventor can put trip on a halberd, you can put reach on a dagger, you can do some really, really cool stuff, and the best part is you get to flavor it yourself. How does that dagger have reach? Maybe the knife is on a spring, and when you stab, you press a button and it springs out for a second and comes back. You can just get so creative with the Inventor. Mechanics, flavor, integration, execution, other keywords, synergy. Those are my favorite subclasses for every single class in Pathfinder 2e. What about you? What is your favorite for every single class? Leave a very lengthy comment down below, because honestly, I love seeing that. I know it's a lot and some people get intimidated by the paragraph-long comments, and I might not always respond to them, but I am always impressed and kind of flattered, even when they're aggressive. The fact that someone took the time to write out 4 paragraphs in the comment section in response to something stupid I said, that's flattering. I want to give another quick shout out to my patrons as well as you all for watching this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And until next time, no nat ones.